can't put it into words how amazing it was to be there.
Defensively 1v1, there's no one really I'd say better than him.
I'm really excited to be here and yeah, I'm excited for the season.
Welcome to the pre-match pint. For the second year running, I've managed to convince the club to let me come down and have a pint every week, chat Brentford with some of my mates, and we call it content apparently. And with the big game this weekend against Leicester to start our Premier League season, we've gone big. And what a lineup we've got. Superb back four. I'm going to take the left back spot, worst player and all of that. Bombing it down the right hand side. He's a style icon, a fan's favourite, former Wales international. It's Rhys, Weston. And what a centre-back partnership we've got here. From the Brentford women's team, we've got Amber, Langston-Lloyd, and our new summer signing, Ben Mee. I'm saying new still, 2 weeks in. First of all, thanks for joining me, everyone, for the first of the season.
Cheers.
Of course, Amber and Ben are on the waters because they're consummate professionals, whereas myself and Rhys, not so well. I'm actually on non-alcoholics. You can get Fuller's non-alcoholic. Always remember to drink responsibly. We're here down at the Fuller's Tap Room and Brewery in Chiswick. Brentford fans, get down here for 10% off. Guys, I always like to start with a toast, and there's a few things to toast. Obviously, the new season, toast to that, and also the Lionesses. I feel like seems apt to start there. What an unbelievable achievement from them at the weekend.
Amazing.
Amber, you were there, of course, on Sunday at Wembley. Talk to me about your experience.
What an experience. I can't put it into words how amazing it was to be there, to actually experience it and actually get the atmosphere. Obviously you see it on TV, but actually being there, hearing the fans, not an empty seat in sight. And I did cry when they won. I did cry.
I think everyone was pretty emotional, weren't they?
Yeah.
It was such an amazing thing and it kind of gripped the whole country. And Ben, it was an amazing performance on the night, but the whole tournament, they were just superb, weren't they?
Yeah, they were brilliant. I was jealous not to be there on Sunday night, and yeah, I went home after the Betis game, and yeah, I was jealous not to be there. But no, they were fantastic all the way through the tournament. You know, the energy it created throughout the country. I think, you know, the fans, you saw all the young people within the crowd enjoying it, and you know, it brought everyone together a lot, and I think we all enjoyed watching them for sure.
And that's it, it's the young fans as well that have been gripped by this. And Rhys, you've got a young daughter. How amazing is it for her now, having these role models she can see playing football and winning competitions like this? It's amazing.
It is, and they're trailblazers, aren't they? And they're in their own right, and that's the key. They're in their own right. There's no point in drawing comparisons to what's gone before. This group of women have been exceptional all the way through the tournament, captivated the nation, won on merit. And as you say, it now needs to be built upon, doesn't it? It's all good and well jumping on the bandwagon and saying how incredible it's been, but it needs to be built upon now. And it's the generations to come will have a great group of people to look up to and aspire to.
And Amber, as a member of the women's team, who were your footballing kind of icons and people that you looked up to?
So they weren't actually women, they were male players. So Frank Lampard, John Terry. When I was younger, I was actually a Chelsea fan. No longer a Chelsea fan, Brentford fan.
Of course, yeah.
But yeah, I remember going to games and obviously opening programmes and seeing the women's team within the programme. They always had a page because Chelsea women's were obviously quite big back then when I was young. But yeah, it's massive to see the growth of women's football and to now actually see people watching it and wanting to go to games. And even if they aren't really into football, you've got fans that want to watch it. And just be a part of it.
And Rhys mentioned legacy there. How do we make sure we do push on now and continue that growth of the women's game?
Well, at the Community Sports Trust, we've got loads of sessions anyway for girls, and my kind of role there is to grow the girls' side of the game. So from just having fun to right up into our post-16, where it's kind of more into teams and getting them into and ready for the women's team. So along underneath Carly, trying to get them ready and prepared to go straight into the kind of women's setup at 16. But yeah, with this, it will just hopefully boost the amount of girls that want to play and want to progress and enjoy it.
Cool. So it was the story of the weekend, but we also finished our pre-season campaign and started with a 1-0 win over Betis. Rhys, you were there. What did you make of the game?
I loved it. I thought it was a great test. I thought it was a really, really competitive game. I raised a few eyebrows. Some of the challenges that were flying in from the Betis players. They weren't too shy in getting stuck in. But no, look, you know, they're top European opposition. You know, Copa del Rey winners, finished 5th in the Liga. It's a good test, and I have to say the Brentford boys were more than ready for it, and it was played at a really good pace, good attendance as well. I just felt it was a really apt spectacle to go into the first league game. I thought it was thoroughly enjoyable test of football.
Ben got 75 minutes on.
75 with that one, didn't we? Yeah.
How did you feel, mate?
Yeah, I felt good. It was great to be playing at the stadium in front of a really good crowd, and yeah, it was good opposition. Like I say, a few tackles flying in from them. It wasn't me this time. It was one of my tackles. So no, it was a really good test, and I felt good. The lads were superb. Looked fit, looked strong, and we could have had a couple more goals as well.
It did feel fiery, didn't it? I don't know what it was about, and there was a naughty tackle on Ivan at one point. But in a weird way, do you mind that? Because it's getting you prepared for the season, because it seems to be the theme a bit this pre-season with a lot of clubs. Yeah,
you want it to be competitive. I mean, that's the idea of getting in swing. We need to be competitive on Sunday. So it was a good game, but you don't want them tackles really flying in too early on. It was a nasty one on Ivan. I didn't like it, and you've got to be careful in them kind of games. But you do want it competitive, but in a sensible way.
Yeah. And what did Thomas say after? Happy with pre-season in general going into the season?
I think so. Obviously, I came in 2 weeks ago, halfway through pre-season really, and it seems like the lads have had a really good, solid pre-season. Looking sharp, like I say, looking fit and strong, and I think everyone's been really pleased with it. And some good results in recent weeks, and I think everyone's really been working hard, and from what I can see, and I'm ready and raring to go for the weekend.
Amber, you were there as well, and we don't like to pick out too many individuals here, but I thought Rico Henry was absolutely outstanding at the weekend. As a defender, what did you make of his performance?
So I actually used to be a left back, but I don't have the legs for it anymore. So watching him play, obviously up and down, it's just a kind of new form of left back. They're able to get up and down the pitch, and he's very, very good at it. He's been at Brentford for a long time now, so he's probably one of the longest serving players. So yeah, he's probably one of my favourite players. Sorry.
Got time.
But it was good to see him.
He reminds me of a young Rhys Weston actually. But Ben, what's he like to play alongside? Because he does like to get forward.
Yeah, obviously it was my first time playing alongside him. Enjoyed it. Thought he was excellent. Getting up and down the pitch. Good quality. We saw with the goal, getting a cross in and providing the assist for the goal as well. But equally adept at defending one-on-one. I know that already, that he's good at doing that, and like I say, bombing up and down the pitch. So no, he's a fantastic player, and yeah, I'm looking forward to hopefully getting the opportunity to play alongside him a lot more.
Rhys, we spoke about him a lot, and it's just getting silly now because it's going to be the conversation again. Is it a matter of time before he gets into that England squad?
It has to be. I mean, I don't pretend to know what the inner workings of the FA are like and what the selection process is, but when you look at what else is out there at the moment, on form alone, Rico was up there last season as one of the best left backs in the league, and he does everything. It's difficult not to draw comparisons. I grew up with Ashley, so Ashley Cole is one that comes to mind. I think he's quicker than Ash, if I'm honest. Defensively 1v1, there's no one really I'd say is better than him. I think if he stays fit and he continues in the form he showed last season, it can only be a matter of time. It has to be, because what more can someone do to force their way into the England setup? And I think Brentford showed last season that they are a force to be reckoned with. They're here to stay. They're here to be taken seriously. So if that was a kind of question mark over the selection process, is Brentford an England kind of pathway? I think that myth's been dispelled by last season's performances. So hopefully now, everyone will look at it as a fresh start, and if Rico continues the way he's been doing, then it should only be a matter of time.
Another player I want to pick out. I mean, I said that I want to pick out individuals. I'm just picking two out straight away. But Justice Silva, spoke to him in pre-season, and he had such a tough time of it last year. And seeing him in training, he looks sharp. He looks unbelievable. And Amber, I thought he had a great cameo at the weekend as well.
Yeah, he's again one of the probably longest serving players in the Brentford team at the moment, and obviously before his injury it was good to see him on the pitch, and now actually to see him back playing and probably the best he's ever looked. He's put the work in, and now hopefully back in the starting 11.
Well, that did round up obviously our pre-season campaign, and we've got the results on screen for you here. It started with that win against Boreham Wood and finished really strongly with those 3 wins against Arsenal, Brighton and of course Betis at the weekend. Ben, how much do you as players actually look into these results? Is it more about performances and fitness levels at this time of the season?
Yeah, it's about performances, about getting ready for the season. Results don't matter as much, as a player, how you're feeling, how you're looking, and it's just about building up and being ready for the weekend, really, for that start of the Premier League season. But obviously it's nice to get that confidence up. Yeah. It's nice for the strikers to get a few goals in pre-season, just to get their eye in, and it's nice for the defence to keep clean sheets and put on good performances. So, but no, I think as a player when you're feeling good and you're ready, no matter what the results are. So
I guess for you as well, coming in, it's getting those minutes alongside someone like Pontus and building a relationship. Is that what it's about for you?
Yeah, definitely. I think especially at centre half, it's important to build relationships. Like say, playing with Rico as well at left back, trying to get them relationships. Obviously, it's been sort of fast tracked a little bit for myself coming in so late into pre-season. But no, I've been trying to get to know the lads as well as possible. And no, it is about building them relationships with the keeper as well. With David in there as well. So no, I'm enjoying it, and hopefully we can play a lot of games together.
Rhys, the window's still open, and there's obviously rumours circulating and things like that. And looking at the business that we've done, again, apart from maybe Christian Eriksen, kept hold of our prized possessions and brought in some brilliant recruits, such as Ben over here. And what have you made of the business we've done so far?
Exciting, I think, and you look at Aaron Hickey and Keane Lewis-Potter, and of course Ben as well. That it's quality, like really good quality signings. We spoke previously about recruitment now in the Premier League era is so difficult. To try and get an edge on the competition without having a kind of blank checkbook is nigh on impossible. And if you're looking at a player, chances are 5 out of 10 are looking at a player. So for us to get Aaron done, to get Keane done, and to get Ben done it's testament to where the club are and how they're perceived. And I think it's interesting. I spoke to a couple of people at the back end of last season around how do you improve the starting 11, and of course Christian Eriksen leaving, he's a quality player, but that's a chapter in history that's now closed. We've got some really fresh blood coming in. You talked about Josh coming back to fitness. I think those additions are only going to make us better. Again, youthful, experienced, a combination of the two.
Yes.
Look, I think it's brilliant. I think the fans are genuinely excited about it as well. And again, the key is we're no longer a selling club. We've kept hold of our prized possessions. So if anything, using last season as the barometer, I think this season is going to be a very, very exciting one for everyone involved.
And I want to talk to you about Aaron Hickey. Obviously, you played left back, and in Aaron we've got a fullback who can play with both feet. How beneficial would that be to the side in that not only can he play both positions, but when he does play in those positions, he can play with both feet?
It's good. It's very good that he's versatile and able to play on obviously both sides of the pitch. Obviously, if we do have injuries, you've then obviously got him to be able to fill in both sides. But also he's able to cut inside and play. So whether he's playing on the left side or the right side, you almost have trust in him on both sides because he's able to play with both feet. I don't do that, so it's obviously nice to see someone able to play with both feet.
Absolutely right. Cutting inside only ended one way for me. That's usually doing a recovery run back towards my own goal. So it's all.
Ben, it's been a couple of weeks now since you've come in through the door. How have you found it? How have you settled in?
I've settled in really well. Fantastic group of people, players, staff, everyone around the club. I think's, welcome me really well. Really enjoying it. I'm excited. The group of players, such a talented group of players, young lads as well. Coming, I think I'm the oldest player. I think so. I feel
that makes me feel
even older. So yeah, so I've come in into the group and been welcomed really well. Like I say, a lot of talent in that group, and I've been really impressed with the lads and with the whole structure of how it is at the training ground as well. And it's a really good club that's moving forward in the right way, so I'm really excited to be here, and I'm excited for the season.
Is it hard, Rhys, moving to the club and settling in? You had quite a few basically, is what I've asked you.
Thanks, Stu. It can be, and I think to Ben's point, it's your teammates that make the transition easier. Of course, the staff play a vitally important role in that, but it's being accepted by your peers and being welcomed into the dressing room with open arms. That's what helps you settle quickest. That's how I found it anyway. You're brought in by the powers that be because they see a value in you, but the true value is how you integrate with the group. It can be difficult, especially if you're coming into a position that's been occupied by someone previously. If there's pre-existing relationships, I think we're very lucky from what I've seen. The cliquey environment of a bygone year doesn't exist anymore, and everyone seems to be pulling in the right direction. Especially no more so that Brentford. So I think when you come into the environment, it's all about your teammates, how quickly you can settle in, respecting the dressing room culture, understanding the individuals that you can get on with, that you can have banter with, that kind of stuff. And it's, like I said, I think nowadays people understand it's all for the greater good. And I certainly found there weren't any really bad dressing rooms. If you go into it with an open mind and you're willing to adapt and to put the time in, you're settling quite quickly. I think Ben's testified to that now. The lads have taken to him. Makes it a lot easier to settle in and get into your rhythm.
Ben, you mentioned the talent in the group, and is there anyone that maybe surprised you that you maybe didn't realise how good they were?
I guess I'm still getting to know the lads, and I'm sure, but honestly, pretty much all the lads have really shown me the quality that they've got, and coming to the side, seeing the lads. Obviously, I know about the likes of Brian and Ivan up there, and Wish has been fantastic for me since I've come in. Been brilliant. Josh has spoken about looking sharp, looking proper, really on it. Then he's chomping at the bit to, I'm sure, this season to get going and have a really good season. He's had a good pre-season, and he'll really be up for it this season, I'm sure, after missing out so much. But no, I think everybody's really impressed me since coming into the group, and I'm excited. I think we've got a good chance this season to do really well and do good things.
You're playing with him now, but you've also played against Ivan. What's he like to play against?
Yeah, he's difficult to play against. I only got the one game against him last season. I think I played against him previously when he was at his previous club.
Right.
And he's gets his body in well, uses the ball well, and he's a difficult opponent, man. He knows where the net is as well, which is always a handy trait to have as a striker. So. No, fantastic, and then you've got the boys wide as well, at coming off the lines, running behind, and play off him as well, which it's difficult to play against for sure.
I remember Carly, your coach, he said that when he was coming through at Brentford, Dion Burton was a striker, and Dion Burton used to say to Carly, by the way, I hate it when defenders do this, and Carly would be like, well, I hate it when strikers do this. Is there anything, do you guys do that ever, or did you ever do that with opposite numbers in your team and go, by the way, Ivan, last year you did this and I hated that, so make sure you do this? Is it anything like that ever go on?
Yeah, I think so. I think, I'll certainly tell Ivan some things that I didn't like and that stuff. Yeah, definitely. And I think you get that relationship together and you do have them conversations that, I hated when you did this against us and things like that. So yeah, for sure, I think that is a conversation that we will have.
Yeah. Well, look, we're looking forward now to the game against Leicester City on Sunday. Amber, it's been a bit of a weird summer for Leicester, hasn't it? They've not managed to bring anyone in yet, and they've had a lot of players linked with moves away. Is this, dare I say it, a good time to play them maybe?
I'd like to think so, because there's obviously uncertainty of players leaving or players staying, and then obviously they just need to get off to a good start like they did last season against Arsenal. So a win would be the best possible thing for them. And
Rhys, is that actually, I think that, again, you probably weren't linked with a lot of moves away. I didn't see too much transfer speculation. I'm killing you.
Get to the point, Stu.
Do players get distracted by that stuff?
100%.
They do?
In my opinion, absolutely. Listen, if you're James Maddison now and you're being linked with a £50 million move to Newcastle, where's your head at? Yuri Tielemans has been linked with Arsenal forever and a day. Kasper Schmeichel's seemingly leaving. You've got all these things, and if your head's turned by that, and I don't know the individuals in question, so again I'm speculating, but it's very difficult, especially for a James Maddison who hasn't, he's had a reasonably successful time at Leicester. He did really well when he joined from Norwich, and then he had a little bit of a spell where he couldn't get into the team, and he's obviously highly regarded, but it's very difficult not to have your head turned by that, especially with the sums of money that's being talked about. You're probably looking at £100 million worth of transfer dealings that could potentially be going out the door at Leicester. So yeah, but also it can galvanise the rest of the group, right? And especially if you've got one or two players that you think have checked out, you might have that siege mentality developing. So look, there are no easy games in the Premier League. So to answer your question about is it the right time to play them, it's the opening game of the season for both clubs. Both teams are going to want to start positively. I would say Brentford have had a more settled pre-season in the sense that we've only had one high-profile outgoing, and we've added quality to the squad. Leicester probably at this stage don't know who their starting 11 is going to be on Sunday, so maybe that's an advantage. But listen, it's I think everyone knows how difficult the Premier League is going to be. But I think we're in good shape. And you talk about controlling the controllables, it's an old cliche, but I think Brentford have done as much as they can in preparation for going into the campaign in good shape. So hopefully that gives us the edge on Sunday.
I think that's it. We don't really know what to expect quite yet from Leicester in even the weekend. They changed it up a little bit and kind of bodies, and we saw Pereira went off I think with a knock, and people have come in and out. Does that make it almost harder, Ben, to prepare, because it's hard to predict what lineup they're going to go with?
I mean, we'll have our preparations, but I think the big thing is we focus on ourselves and make sure we're right, and whatever happens this week with them doesn't really matter to us. I think we've just got to go there and prepare how we have prepared all pre-season to go into that first game being ready, and that's the main thing for us. I think whatever happens there, and just to know that we're going to be on it and ready to go. I think that's the main thing.
Obviously they did in the end do the double over us last season, and no matter what's going on with them and players getting linked away, for me I think they've got arguably one of the best, if not the best, manager in the league apart from Thomas. I guess one player that we know no matter what will be playing is probably Jamie Vardy. We know how dangerous he can be. Ben, what's he like to play against?
Yeah, he's annoying. That's the only way I can describe him.
Annoying,
he's
but in the nicest possible way. That he's
good way. Yeah, well, good way for him. He flits in and out of games. He doesn't get too involved in a game, and he'll make sort of one run in behind, and he'll get in the end of it and probably score. So that's what I class as annoying. You think you've got him most of the game, and yeah, he's a danger. He's certainly a threat, and he's very experienced as well. So no, he's a top class player, and someone certainly needs to keep an eye on.
Does he chew your ear off in the games? That's what it strikes me as.
No, he's usually all right. He's on his own players a lot of the time as well, like trying to get them going and stuff. So no, he's pretty quiet when it comes to the opposition. With myself anyway, I've never found that he's been in my ear. But like I say, you just got to watch him and keep an eye on him.
Have you guys come up against strikers that are just non-stop in your ear?
Not really.
No.
And
I don't know why I think it happens so much.
I don't know. It's because you're probably a horrible
You nearly saw them.
such and such when you play football. In fact, I've seen you on a five-a-side pitch. You're giving it massive. No, I was never one to dish out either. Like I think to Ben's point, as a defender, and from Amber's perspective as well, as a defender, you're only one mistake away from embarrassing yourself, aren't you? Do you know what I mean? So I was never one to get too embroiled in verbals. I was more concentrating on trying not to make a mistake that cost us something. So. No, I don't really recall anybody that was kind of constantly in my ear. Kevin Ellison, actually, to be fair, he was a bit chirpy, but that's his Kev. You know, he's 107, he's still playing, so he's probably earned the right to be like that. But no, other than that, no one really stands out as giving verbals.
And it's normally you, isn't it?
Yeah, normally. Obviously, got Carly as our manager, but we normally try and let the football do the talking, so leave it to the first 5 minutes. Can we put in a solid challenge and then kind of set that precedence for the strikers to know that if they're going to come near us, obviously as centre-backs, they don't get away with it kind of thing. So whether that's putting it on them after the ball's been played or while they've got the ball at their feet, that's that's what we get told.
Like no VAR, I suppose you get away with it, can't you? Ben, what are these first games like? Because with regards to fitness levels, how fit are players in these games really, and how do they compare to maybe October fixtures?
It all depends on how the pre-season's gone really. I think some players will be in and out, and I think lads that have had a full pre-season will be ready to go and ready, and then maybe others it might take a little bit longer, maybe 1 or 2 games, but I think you get into your rhythm pretty quick. Adrenaline takes over as well when you're playing as well, so that always helps. Obviously the pre-season games aren't as sort of high energy, and sort of we got the fan sort of feeling around it as well. So I find that adrenaline sort of gets you through these first couple of games, and then you're into your rhythm and into the season. But it is unpredictable. You know, going to we were speaking about Leicester. It's unpredictable really about what's going to happen. You know, and yeah, it's exciting though to get going and you know, get started.
I can't wait. How important is a good start going to be, Amber, on Sunday?
Hugely important, because it sets the kind of precedence for the rest of the season. I think that obviously last season was that kind of precedence of that win. So if we can continue that and then just build on it,
yeah,
good.
Exactly. Well, look, that is last orders for now, but we're going to be speaking to Ben on the website, so make sure you head over there if you can, and we're going to put your questions to him. Before we go, we asked you to tell us your favourite opening day memories. I've got a few of them here. Gary Shields won the year we went up, 91-92 season, the 4-3 win against Leyton Orient. Remember Ricky Yotto that day was unbelievable for Orient. Yes, I am old enough to remember it. 2014, Tommy Smith against Charlton in our first championship season. N Popey, 5-1 win against Rotherham. Instantly knew we were going to do bits that season. I remember that was Ben Rama's debut actually. 2 goals for Morpay and 1 for Watkins as well. And then Lee MM83 says, Nicky Forster hat-trick on his debut away to Plymouth in a 5-1 win. That game, of course, back in 1994. Get your answers below to that question as well if you didn't get in contact with us on Instagram and tell us what your favourite opening day memories are. Thank you all for joining, and Ben will be staying on for last orders. Well, as we said, we'll be putting your questions to him. Cheers everyone, and safe journey up to Leicester. You Reds! Ben, welcome to Brentford.
Thank you. Great to be here.
How does it feel wearing the new second kit of Brentford?
I believe so. Yeah.